Thank you, Chief. Item number 5, Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that Resolution 2008-171, final plat for Coronado Crossing Phase 3, lots 1 to 45, and tracks A and B be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff report from Mr. Brush.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Mueller, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final phase of the Coronado Crossings subdivision. This is phase 3, consists of 19 lots on approximately, 45 lots on approximately 19 acres. The location is the intersection of Coronado Drive and Buffalo Soldier Trail. Winter Haven Drive accesses the Winter Haven subdivision on the north side of the site, and access into the site is off of Winter Haven Drive. This is the final subdivision plat of Coronado Crossings, which is the last component of the Country Club Estates specific plan, and will wrap up that planning effort that began some 15 years ago. The specific plan minimum lot size for the subdivision phase is 6,000 square feet, and most of the lots within this subdivision range from 8,000 to 20,000 square feet. The developer is constructing a multi-use path that'll run along the wash, this is South Garden Wash, and extend from Buffalo Soldier all the way through the Coronado Crossing subdivision up to Avenida Cochise. And this is being done in lieu of park development fees. This was arranged some years previously, and that pathway is actually now under construction. Relevant to this subdivision phase, there will be a 12 vehicle parking area right in this location adjacent to Winter Haven Drive, so that members of the public can access the trail who don't necessarily live in the area of the subdivision. Lastly, the developer did submit the now required proof of water adequacy as required for municipalities in Cochise County. That was done in 2003, and the final plat is ready for your final consideration. And I would add that Michael Sarapanya from Castle and Cook is here this evening if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brush. Any questions, discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I just would like to ask on the path, is that the same quality of path is it paved, or is it a dirt path that goes through the wash?
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Husking, yes, it is the same type of quality that you see on all the city multi-use paths. It's 10 feet wide and fully paved.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. We're on to item number 6. Mrs. Husking.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I move that Resolution 2008-172, Amendment to Development Agreement with West End Partners, LLC, Garden Gate Center, parcel 10668-271A, located at the southeast corner of North Garden Avenue and Taylor Drive, be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. You will recall that last month you approved a development agreement for what will be a 5-story office building on the west end across from, in the vicinity of the Sun Canyon Inn, which I know most of our residents know. At the time, the developer was under negotiation still for some form of reduction in fees as an incentive for this development. However, they wanted to move forward to entitle the property so that they could continue with their loan process. And we since have come to the conclusion and are recommending to you this evening a $30,000 reduction in their approximate $96,000 worth of building permit and plan review fees. This is in keeping with the council's infill incentive policy, and the city in return is getting a significant upgrade in water infrastructure, road infrastructure, and for the type of project that this will serve in terms of as a catalyst for additional redevelopment on the west end, we feel that this is in keeping with your intent for additional incentives for this type of development. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mrs. Jacobs. Any questions or discussion? Mrs. Husky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Did we bring any maps of the proposed project? Again, I know it's been shown before, but
I'm afraid I don't have one with me this evening, and I apologize for that.
Okay. Right, but if anyone wants to see it, what would they have to do?
They can come to the Community Development Office at City Hall. We'll be glad to show them detailed information about it.
Okay, thank you.
And I think Councilwoman Husking does make a good point. We are on a visual medium. One of the purposes tonight is to communicate clearly with the public. And when we have the opportunity to be able to do that, we need to take advantage of it. So please, in the future, make sure that the maps or appropriate documents are there. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. We're on to item 7. Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that ordinance 2008-019, codification of code of ordinances, be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Adams.
Mayor Pro Tem Mueller, members of council, this is the final action taken in the process to formally adopt into the city record all of the ordinances that were passed between the period of January 25th, 2007 and January 24th, 2008. You first heard this as a public hearing item on October 23rd. In the past 30 days, we have received no comments from the public, negative or positive. We have reviewed the documents that we received from the company that did the codification, and if passed by you tonight, it will complete the process and those ordinances will become part of the official record of the city.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Adams.